All right, we got quite a few videos to get through, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with these. So first up, obviously, we're squatting here. Your technique is solid, and it's pretty classic for somebody who's got the mobility that you've got. You did have a little bit of squish in the bottom of that one. Let me see if we can show that second rep again. So you'll see that when you hit the bottom, there's just a little bit of squishing, and it's not, it could be a little bit of a chest fall pattern, but it looks to me more like a squish pattern. So what that means, things that will be helpful for that, one, when you're training your competition lift, be mindful that on those hard reps, you've got a tendency to do that, and you need to brace hard and make sure that you're solid in the bottom. Don't allow yourself to cave like that on those hard reps. Assistance exercises that will help with that are primarily things like pause squats, 2-count pause squats, and safety bar squats. So I see you're training at Barbell Brigade, so I'm sure that there's a safety squat bar there. One thing that you can do is sub out a squat assistance movement like a pin squat maybe, and put in some safety bar squats, same protocol. For your supplemental movements in the squat, you're going to be wanting to look for things like posterior chain dominant movements. So like thinking like good mornings, primarily for the squat, what we see the most of. But even just training your deadlift is going to help with that. So it's something to be mindful of. Continue to train your quads. Don't abandon all quad development work in the supplemental category for posterior chain stuff. You will want to continue developing your quad strength. That's going to be helpful for you as well. So that's the primary deficiency that I see. Technique is solid. I don't have any complaints about how you're executing this technically. It's just that when it gets hard, when the reps get hard, that seems to be the compensation pattern that you've got. Everybody's got something that seems to be yours. So let's move on to the bench here. See if I can get past the warm-ups. Now, this is interesting. You say that it was a double at an 8, but it felt like a 9. When you're rating your RPE, start with what it feels like, and then maybe adjust it a half a point based on actual performance. So some things such as video review and stuff like that. So those are nice solid pauses, by the way. You've got really nice solid pauses. It looks like the deficiency for you in this case is going to be that bottom position, strength off the chest. The program itself, as it is designed to help strengthen that. So I would keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing over time, and that's going to get better. That's going to improve with a little bit of time. So now, as far as your assistance and supplemental work, as I said, I wouldn't really change any of the assistance exercises, but you can change the supplemental stuff. In terms of supplemental stuff that you're going to need in order for your bench to improve, you're going to want to be looking for stuff like dumbbell work, wide grip bench, feet up bench, things along those lines. So I wouldn't replace your overhead pressing to get more of this stuff in, but I would make sure that the other bench supplement slot, there should be 2 in every training week, is set up to target those ideal movements for you. All right, so let's move on to the deadlift. You've got several different deadlift videos here. So we're going to back this up just a hair. Okay, and I've got these a little bit out of order. I know that this is the stiff deadlift bar that you sent most recently, but I don't think it matters that much. These are nice, solid bottom positions, and I only caught the last 2 reps there, but those are the most important ones anyway. Nice, solid bottom position. You're maintaining that position pretty well. You're not flexing under the load, so that looks fine to me technically. And in terms of weak range of motion, weak muscle groups, you can really just do the deadlift program as it's written. You shouldn't need to make any sort of modifications to that one really at all, I don't think. So this one's a bit heavier, so we'll see if there's any sort of technical breakdown on this. Looks fine. There does get to be a bit of time between these reps, but I understand, doing them as singles. That's just kind of how it works sometimes. That's going to inflate your, just something to be aware of is that it's going to inflate your estimated 1RM numbers because you get a little bit more rest, you can handle a little bit more weight, at the same RPE for reps, so it's going to inflate those estimated 1RM numbers for the higher rep work. Now, if you can customize your RPE chart, that won't be a problem for you. But we'll go ahead and watch this set, and then we'll move on to another video. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see that the bottom is your weak range of motion. Again, the program is designed to target that, so I don't really see any problem with that. Yeah. Okay, we'll watch this last rep here. You got a little bit out of position on that last rep, but I mean, it's pretty subtle. It seems like your setup was a little bit not the same as it normally was. So let's go and move on to some other videos. That first rep was slightly more rounded than you'd been in the other video. The second was better. This is quite a bit more weight too, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, you're definitely in a somewhat more rounded position with the deadlift bar, so it's just something to be aware of. And I mean, it's really dependent on what your preferred style is going to be. Do you want to deadlift in that slightly rounded position? I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's dangerous the way that you're doing it. You're doing it well. You're doing it responsibly. It does carry a bit more risk, but that isn't to say that that's a guarantee. And it's impossible to say really how much the risk is different versus in your flat back video. Okay. Yeah, you're definitely more rounded on that second rep. Yeah, it seems like this video, these last 2 videos are definitely more rounded than they were with the stiffer bar in the other videos. So how do you want to pull? That's kind of the main question, I would say, is do you want to pull with a flat back, or do you not mind if your back is rounded a little bit like it is in some of these videos? Because that's going to drive a lot of what we do and kind of where we go from here. So that's about all I've got for you for this week. Let me know what you think about this, and we can continue some discussion.